Chosen one, let me tell you something personal today. I saw what they'll never admit. The exact you became unstoppable. This isn't just a claim, it's a promise, and I'll show you the proof. Get ready, because what you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about their fear and your power. Don't skip a single word. Welcome on board, person you chose. Take a seat. Take deep breaths. Feel that strange silence. That's not peace. People make that sound when they feel like they've lost control and don't know what to do next. We need to stop acting. They told you you were done. They said you went too far. They said you weren't where you were supposed to be. See who now thinks they're important. The myth needs to bow down. They'll be back as soon as they realize the truth. It's funny how loud they were when they thought you were small, and how quiet they became when they can't get away from this cold truth. They failed to stop everything that was going to happen. They tried to close all the doors, but they kept opening. They used rumors to hurt you, but each one turned out to be true and hurt them instead. Your attack didn't make them lose. You didn't lose, so they did. That is what is killing them. Before anyone said a word, you knew it. The shift, the awkward pauses, the way some people avoid eye contact or give too many compliments, as if they're trying to repair the damage, and the way the voices that doubted you before now speak less loudly. Be careful not to punt the fire by accident. This isn't making up stories. This is the aftereffect. They thought the stress would kill you. Instead, it taught you. They believed that being quiet would make you hungry. Instead, it made you stronger. Now look at you, calm and unreadable. Not a victory speech or a tour of revenge, just being there. That's what scares them the most. You didn't have to say that someone won. The world took care of it for you. The talks changed when they were closed doors. No more jokes or making fun of people, just worry dressed up as a plan. It was finally said out loud. We should warn them. Not because they care, but because they're afraid of what will happen if you don't stop. So they sent him. The person who could get things done, had power, and used to talk with confidence about your limits. He spoke to you in a practiced way that was half friendly, half authoritative. It was like, I'm here to help, but he was also trying to slow you down. But they forgot to think about this. They begged him to step in and get to you before things got worse, and he didn't defend himself. He didn't think twice. The smile he gave wasn't friendly or hopeful. It was the kind of smile you give when you've read the last page and know there won't be a rewrite. When they asked him to stop what was going to happen, he said two words that made them look pale. Too late. Everything I have covered across this channel is now in one place. The prayers, the teachings, the daily blessings, it is all inside the Daily Miracle Manual. Link in the description. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site, you are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. Before we go any further, pick one, click the like button and subscribe, but not for me, for the mission. You can make this message stronger by moving it forward. Now let's talk about why it was too late. They know history, so it hit them really hard. These people have seen this pattern before, and it wasn't in a movie. It happened in families, offices, industries, and movements. The quiet person who took the blows figured out how things worked, and then left without asking for permission. The one that no one saw coming because pride makes people blind. Think about all the times someone laughed right before they lost everything. The business that made fun of the rival didn't see it coming. Someone's friend group shut them out and then watched them do well without them. The guards who didn't pay attention to a name until it became popular all of a sudden. It always ends the same way. The enemy plays too much. What does the chosen one do? After that, reality speaks. You're no longer angry with how you feel. It's the end. That's why you're dangerous. Anger is very loud. Closure works well. The universe already did the math for you, so you don't need to get even. They did everything that could have gone wrong, and now they're staring at the bill. They beg for warnings because that's the only thing that makes them feel like they have control. They can sleep at night if they can say, "We tried." But the truth is harsh and easy to understand. You outgrew the time when they were important to you. You were already through the storm. Now they have to deal with the silence that comes after. This is the part where the damage is clear and no one can be blamed. You're not after them. You have nothing to prove. You're standing in your power while they try to figure out what's going on. They didn't plan for that victory to happen. That's why they were scared of his smile. He saw what they wouldn't accept. It wasn't a surprise. This was earned. Okay, chosen one, the world no longer talks to you the same way. Not because you wanted to be rejected, but because you were impossible to ignore. It's not rude to say something is too late. The verdict is in. Stop right now. At this point, people who were just interested slowly move away. And the people this message was meant for should lean in closer, because there's no more build-up or hype from now on. The part after that is what they begged him to keep you from hearing. The breakdown, the order, the exact steps that show why they became scared, why the warnings, and how he knew it was too late to help. Pay close attention, chosen one. You already know this isn't random. If you felt that strange pull to stay, if your chest tightened when you heard too late, or if this doesn't feel like content but like confirmation. Signs from the universe. Don't go to people who aren't ready to carry them. The complete guide, every daily prayer, every spiritual tool, everything I've put together to help you grow your faith is down in the description. It's called the Daily Miracle Manual. Now, stay right here with me because as this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Leave 777 in the comments if you're still here on purpose, not for luck or trends, but to show that you're committed, steady, and ready to see the whole picture without blinking. The next part is not loud. Step by step, layer by layer, it's exact. You will not even think about clicking away if this is meant for you. There will be a quiet push in you to stay until the end, because leaving now would feel incomplete. Okay, let's start. First, there was the smile that locked the door for good. Warnings are for people who can still do something. You didn't. That smile wasn't nice. It wasn't cocky either. It was over. They smile like this when a conversation is over, but the other person doesn't not know it yet. His tone of voice didn't change. He didn't say anything. He did not try to sound wise or kind. He smiled in that way that people do when they know what will happen and the universe has sealed the deal. It's too late. That wasn't haughty. That was correct. A lot of people get it wrong at that moment because they think power looks strong. People expect yelling, threats, speeches, and dramatic warnings, but real power is quiet because it doesn't need to be asked for. Now you know why that smile hurt them more than any insult ever could. It proved something they were trying very hard to deny. You could no longer be reached. They thought a threat would make you move more slowly. They thought that talking would make the board start over. Some of them thought there was still a guilt string, a button, or a lever they could find and pull. What you believe tells you everything. They only try to scare people, which they can still do. But the person in charge left the room a long time ago. You didn't take one big step over the line. It was quiet as you crossed it, one choice at a time. One line was clear. One response said no. One time when you picked discipline over chaos. They missed that. They were keeping an eye out for explosions while you were becoming impossible to hurt. Now comes the part that makes them crazy. The attack didn't make you dangerous. You became dangerous when you finished changing without asking someone to let you. That's why the watch was late. Because of this, it felt hopeless, since the universe doesn't announce turning points. It lets people know about them when it's already a pain. Think about what it meant to be too late at that time. It was about getting in, not about time. They couldn't get in. There will be no more power, no more leverage, and no more chance to change the story. The people they knew no longer existed, and the new you didn't need their help to understand it. That's why his smile meant something. He saw it. It was clear to him. He knew that the thing they were trying to stop was already fully grown. It wasn't like you were still becoming, you were already there. The enemy doesn't like this phase because there is nothing for them to fight. There is no argument to win, emotion to play on, and no chaos to start. There is only stillness, clarity, and movement. That's when things start to get worse. That's when they play back conversations in their heads and try to figure out where they lost you. Let's answer the question that's on your mind right now. You did not miss a step. You didn't go too far, though. Also, you don't have to tell anyone why you changed from the version of yourself that worked for them. The moment they sent someone to warn you, they knew they were behind. When someone is ahead, they don't send messengers. When they're behind and out of moves, they send them. That smile wasn't mean, it was sincere. It replied, "You're not talking to who you think you're talking to anymore." It replied, "The outcome you're afraid of already happened." It replied, "The universe finished the work while you were busy underestimating it." They desired remorse. They wanted people to hesitate. They meant for you to look confused, but all they saw was peace. And peace scares people who need to be in charge. They don't want this harsh truth to be said out loud. You could not be stopped once you didn't need them to see you. As soon as you stopped explaining your plans. As soon as you let your silence speak for itself. That's why "too late" felt like a word, not a phrase. You didn't win even though you were better in public. You won because you grew up faster than they did. While they were worried about how they looked, you were getting stronger. You cut them off emotionally while they were planning how to respond. You were changing the rules of the game while they watched. They are now looking at the damage and wondering how it happened so quietly. This is where ones who've been chosen often hesitate. This is the last chance for doubt. Should I slow down? Should I soften? Should I listen to them? Is a question that shows how far you've come, because the old you would have already bent. The new you thinks about the question and keeps going. Please understand this. The universe does not send you warnings when it wants you to stop. It sends you confirmations when it wants you to keep going. Not for them, but for you. That smile meant sure things. As a result, you were finally aware that you could no longer be used, blamed, or changed. That the door in their minds that they were half open was already shut, locked, and forgotten. Now comes the part that should make you taller. You didn't mean to hurt anyone. To stay alive, to grow, to become precise instead of reactive, and to become strong instead of loud, you did this. They beg for warnings now because they didn't take you seriously for long enough. They thought that your patience, silence, and kindness meant that you were giving in. And by the time they realized the truth, you were past the point where their opinions mattered. He didn't say "too late" with regret then. That sounds like the end of an era, the way he said it. You, the chosen one, are now on the other side of it. Second, they only send messengers when they've already lost the war. There are no warnings before the power goes up. They show up when the power can't be turned off any longer. A lot of people don't understand this until it's too late. People don't gather, whisper, or send middlemen when someone is really weak. They don't argue about strategy or look at their choices. Weakness doesn't make people worry. It leads to neglect. It's just something that people step over and move on. Messengers only show up after something bad has happened. They don't want you to understand that part. Just the fact that you sent someone to warn you is an admission. It says, "This is no longer under our control," without words. They would have laughed if you were still easy to deal with. They wouldn't have paid attention to you if you were still predictable. When diplomacy comes into the picture, force has already failed. Take a look. No one bargains with something that isn't dangerous. Let's say a small fire starts in a corner. It's seen by many. It might even be a joke. But alarms go off when the fire gets too big to put out. All of a sudden, there are meetings. Someone suddenly says, We need to talk to it before it spreads. That's when the messengers come in, hoping that words can stop the action that has stopped working. You were never told when you were having a hard time and being quiet. When you were ignored, no one did anything about it. When you were taking hits, no one cared. That should tell you everything. It wasn't that they suddenly cared, that they showed concern. It came because the universe tipped the scales, and they could feel it. Another truth that gets stronger the more you think about it. Warnings don't keep you safe. They're trying to fix things. They don't warn you just because. They warn you because they are scared of what will happen next if you don't change anything. So that's why the time seems off. That's why it's late. That's why it seems necessary, odd and rushed, which it is. You're already what they were afraid of by the time they tell you to stop. Be honest with yourself. Would someone have come to you if you were still lost, confused, or in need? Would anyone have bothered to help you if you were still trying to get approval? Of course not. When silence is dangerous, they step in. When momentum can't be changed back. Think about a train that has been slowly speeding up for miles. There are no sirens or announcements. At first, people standing near the tracks don't even notice it. But when it gets close enough to shake the ground, they get scared. That's when someone yells and waves their arms, hoping the train will still listen. But momentum doesn't agree to anything. That's the reason he laughed. He wasn't amused. He knew. He could see what you were working on while everyone else was busy. There is a version of you that doesn't react on cue and moves forward, whether the room agrees or not. This is the version that is disciplined, detached, and precise. They thought you were just starting out. He knew that it was too late to turn back now. They'd never say it out loud, but they really mean it. We should have paid attention sooner. Every late warning comes with that regret, which always comes out as worry. They also hate this metaphor. Think about someone who ignores small cracks in the wall for years. These cracks are easy to miss. Then one day the wall starts to lean, and all of a sudden they call in experts, inspectors, and negotiators, not because they care about the wall, but because they're afraid of what will happen if it falls down. They see you as that wall now, and in this case, collapse doesn't mean destruction, it means being seen. It means that the truth can be seen. It means that their power is ending. Messengers aren't sent to stop growth. They're sent to slow changes that will happen. It's possible that you have a question now. Why do they keep trying if it's already over? Because denial won't give up, for ego does not like endings. Because they still think you'll think twice if they say it's more about worry than fear. That person from the past who used to doubt yourself and blame yourself is what they're betting on. Their goal is for you to mix up duty and kindness. But here's the change. You don't have to listen to the warning to act on it. You don't have to feel their fear to understand it. You don't have to open the door again to acknowledge the messenger. That's strength. Picture this: a chessboard that has reached checkmate. There are still pieces. The game is over, but the board still looks the same. Any more movement is just noise. That's where you are now. People are still talking because they don't want to accept the ending. Also, the universe doesn't send messengers to stop those who have been chosen. It lets them know they're aligned by sending confirmations. Here's another quote that will make the enemy choke. You didn't go too fast. They were too slow. That's the truth, and it hurts because it takes away the idea that you did something wrong. They weren't ready for you to grow up without their help. They weren't ready for you to leave without being angry. They didn't expect you to win quietly. That's the reason why peace came late. This is why warnings don't carry any weight. That's why the messenger didn't beg, but instead smiled. He was sure that there was no more talk. One last picture. It would be like trying to stop a river after it has already made its way. You are welcome to stand there with warnings, signs, and speeches. It doesn't matter to the water. Not because it's mean, but because it's in nature for it to flow where gravity takes it. That point has been reached. Now, when messengers show up, know what they mean. It doesn't mean you should run away. It shows that what you did in silence worked. That you didn't need praise for your change. That the universe moved the pieces a long time before they saw the board change. He smiled because he knew what was true. You didn't need this warning. That was proof that it was already over. 3, they got the time wrong, and that mistake sealed the deal. They didn't lose because you moved quickly. They lost since they didn't act quickly enough. They are afraid of this, not because of what you did, but because of when you did it. They really thought they had time to watch, time to measure, and time to step in if things went wrong. The way they treated your change was like a slow experiment that they could watch from a safe distance and stop whenever they wanted. They watched you struggle and didn't offer to help. Instead, they took notes. They looked at your pain as if it were data on a screen and not at a person something. They called it weakness every time you were quiet, took a step back, or paused. In their minds, silence meant defeat. Waiting turned into hesitating. Giving up became withdrawal. That assumption was a bad one. Let's say someone looks down and sees a seed. They laugh because nothing is happening on the outside. They don't know that roots are moving. It's over by the time the ground cracks. It's no longer possible to pull it out. That was you. They thought you were stuck, but you were just getting stable. They thought you were lost. You were just getting back on track. They thought you were losing speed, but you were actually putting it away. This quote is what keeps them at night. Not seeing any progress is the most dangerous stage. They missed that whole phase because they only understand noise. They thought restraint meant weakness. They thought that fear was discipline because they've never had any. The shift can now be seen. It has a different vibe. Your presence feels stronger. The tone of conversations changes. When people talk to you, they think twice about what they say, and the fear in their eyes is real. When you know there's nothing more you can do, you give up. You took your time. You took your time. You didn't ask for my okay. You were done. One more truth they don't like. It doesn't ask for approval to be finished. That's why they're running around right now. That's why they talk about timing, taking care of damage, and giving warnings. They were waiting for signs, but the process was already over when the signs showed up. Take a look at this. They looked at the calendar over and over again while you were planning the outcome. They asked over and over, when, while you were getting ready. Then they looked at something fully formed and tried to turn back time, but it was too late. They believed they had time. They were wrong. This is how angry you are. The truth finally came out. When you start to neutral, fear always shows up as worry. That meeting wasn't meant to help you. They were trying to calm down. They sat in a tight circle and nodded at each other, as if this was something thoughtful, sensible, and responsible. It was really panic hiding behind a professional mask. Every sentence began with, "We should," and ended with, "fear they wouldn't name." Changed how they thought about things to feel better. Fear turned into care. Fear turned into friendship. Control turned into safety. That's how people explain their interference when it's not necessary. They told themselves they were being honest, because if they told the truth, they would have had to say they were late. At first, someone suggested that you talk to them in a casual way, as if it were just another choice. Someone else was more insistent that there was still time for an intervention. That word, intervention, is important. The thing only shows up when people think they've missed something. Picture a group of people arguing about how to best stop something that has already left the building next to a door that they forgot to lock. The mood in that room was like that, and he just sat there. No problems, no need to hurry, just peace. He let them talk, make plans, and think they still had choices. Because sometimes letting someone finish lying to themselves is the most honest thing you can do. Then they looked at him straight on, not to ask for advice, but to feel better. The kind that says, "Tell us we still matter." That's when he said, "Too late." There was no drama or explanation, just two words that changed the mood of the room. Not because it's silent, but because you know what's going on. It really hit you. The pause and the ice that moved. At that moment, everyone knew what he meant, but they didn't want to believe it. This is the most painful part. He wasn't mean, he was just telling the truth. Meetings only can happen. They don't change it. There was silence in that room because reality hit, and it doesn't budge. If you want the full guide with every prayer and lesson I've compiled for this community, check the description for the Daily Miracle Manual. You are about to enter your divine future, but remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the Word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit Out Community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. They were no longer talking about a possibility. They were recognizing an end. In that meeting, they didn't lose control. Instead, they found that it was gone. Number 5, you are the result, not the test. You don't study results before they change everything. You study them after they have. At this point, the illusion finally fell apart. As soon as it clicked, the air moved. They never thought they were keeping an eye on the project you were. You were never the test subject, the practice run, or the slow process that they could stop in the middle if things got awkward. It all came down to you. They got the whole situation wrong because they thought that growth needed to be supervised. They believed that change is fragile until it is approved. They thought that progress needed permission. That's why they treated you like a work in progress, something they could still poke, question, or steer. At the very least, they were wrong. You weren't unfolding, you were already there, completely and quietly, without needing praise. They felt like they were hit with a delayed shock, the kind that doesn't make you scream, but stops you in your tracks. Imagine scientists arguing about a formula only to find that it has already been solved. Imagine critics arguing about what might happen when the result has already been printed, released, and can't be changed. That's what it was. They were talking about hypotheticals while they were in the result. They were not ready to face the truth. Alerts can be sent to processes. The results can't. Warnings are no longer useful once something is real. Once a storm hits land, you don't have to warn people about it. You don't change a verdict once it's been given. When something has already worked, you don't try to change it. That's why their worry felt awkward, late, and out of place. That person it was meant for is no longer there. They were talking to the past while they were in the present. Because you were already clear. You didn't need help. You were already in charge, so you didn't need to be restrained. It was okay to do what you did, because the universe had already moved the pieces. Now comes the part that should really make you feel better. You didn't become risky by moving too. Getting done made you dangerous, so there's no need for warnings in the results. They bring them. Sixth, they don't think you'll fall. They're worried that you'll finish. They never thought you would fall. They were afraid you would finish. Let's get right to the bone with the lie. They are not worried about you destroying yourself. That story is only for show. They would have stood back and watched if they really thought you were going to fail. When people think something will fail, they don't get upset about it. They wait. They look around. It was up to gravity to do the work. The opposite is what scares them. They're scared that you'll do without them. They're afraid that you'll fully become what you've been changing into while they keep a power and old relevance. The fact that your success isn't loud is what makes it so painful for them. There's no need for their okay. It doesn't go around their power. It doesn't ask to be seated at their table. Think about this: a flashlight in the dark feels strong until the sun comes up. It's still working. It stopped being important. That's what your presence does to everything they thought had power over them. Not by attacking it, but by getting too big for it. They don't want to hear this quote. Your growth shows them what they didn't build. That's what we really fear. They're short. Cuts are easy to see when you are fully formed, calm, focused, and not bothered. Their noise is getting annoying. Their stance gets smaller. They're scared because your success makes them compare you to others. And truth always comes out when you compare things. You might be wondering why they keep making this sound like a worry. Fear never tells the truth about itself. It covers up, makes a scene. It changes the frame. We're worried about you. Sounds better than, you're about to make us obsolete, which is another thing they don't like. Imagine a guard at a gate realizing that the gate doesn't matter anymore because people have found a different way to get through. Not an explosion. Don't rebel. Just not important. Peaceful. For good. That's what you stand for now. Because you're careless, you're not dangerous. You're dangerous since you're whole. And when you finally become what you've been working toward, everything they used to get power's working around you. That's the fear, not your fall or your time to arrive. Seventh, they looked at the shadow, while the real you fixed everything. They followed your noise but missed the rewiring. When you look at it straight on, this is one of their biggest mistakes, and it's almost embarrassing. They really thought they were watching you, looking for patterns in your behavior, patterns in your reactions. They felt like they could see everything going on. They were really looking at a mask that you didn't wear anymore. They only looked at the most obvious, like tone, timing, output, and volume, because that's all they know how to read. At the same time, the real work was going on inside, where their tools couldn't reach. It was quiet, permanent, and structural. They thought you were tired and calmed down. You calmed down because you were done reacting. People thought you slowed down because you were scared. You moved more slowly because you stopped squandering power. It seemed like silence meant confusion to them. It meant to be clear. In this quote, everything is clear. They tracked your movement as you turned around. That is why their data didn't work. This is why their predictions came true. You changed less loudly, not more deeply. Think about this. If someone stands outside of a building and doesn't hear any noise, see any changes, or hear any construction chaos, they might think that nothing is happening. They don't know that work is being done underground to strengthen the foundation. It's already impossible to shake the structure when it rises. That's what you did. They were measuring volume while you changed the frequency. While they kept track of habits, you changed your values. While they looked at reactions, you replaced instincts. Charts don't show those changes. They don't make alarms go off. They aren't clear until it's to do anything about them. They can't handle this truth either. People who are hooked on chaos can't see calm. Because they've never been controlled without force, they think peace means being passive. You might be confused about how they could have missed something so important. Easy. People watched the person you used to be. They never made changes to their model. And the replacement was already done when they realized the version they knew was gone. This is why their warnings don't make sense. That's why they picked the wrong time. Echoes are making them talk. They weren't following you. A ghost was in front of them. Plus, the rebuild was already done by the time they saw the real you. Eighth, your silence didn't mean you gave up. It was the best cover ever. They thought your quiet meant you were cooperating. They lost everything because of that mistake. This is where their bad judgment ends in death. They thought your change would be dramatic, with anger, collapse, public defiance, or something loud enough for people to hear. When none of those things happened, they calmed down. They told themselves that you were happy where you were and had learned your lesson. They felt at ease in the quiet. They saw peace and thought they had lost. Focused and acted like they were giving up. Withdrawal and assumed agreement to submit. For people who need noise, that's how quiet sounds. They believe that if you don't fight them, you're giving up. This is the truth they didn't see. It's easiest to become dangerous when there's no one around. While they were busy feeling good at how they handled you, you were slowly taking away their power. There are no arguments to use, feelings to stir up, or chaos to control. Think of a predator that only goes after things that move. The prey is no longer visible to the predator as soon as it stops moving. It's no longer a sign of weakness, not because it's gone. That's what your silence did. You stopped paying them to pay attention. Another picture. A chess player who stops responding to feints and takes charge of the board. Don't worry or rush, just get in place. They didn't notice that you were in that phase because it didn't fit their idea of resistance. You might wonder why they didn't notice the change. Because being quiet doesn't mean you have power. It shows up later. People who are loud think that peace means they can say what they want. They believe that quiet means easy to handle. Here's the quote that makes it clear. So that they feel threatened, you're already too powerful to control. That's exactly what place. They thought they were controlling how people behaved. In fact, they were unable to access. Silence wasn't a way to hide, it was a way to get away. As they took it easy, you finished the change. 9. There is no theory for why reality started to bend. They can't find the source, but they can't explain away the result. At this point, their confusion turns into fear. They can't see what caused it, but the effects are all around them. They don't understand why things are going your way. Things work out on their own. Limits get less rigid. Doors that have been locked for years open all of a sudden. People who used to block you are now working with you, and they might not even know it. That's what breaks them because they feel in control only when they have models, inputs that are predictable, effort that can be measured, and clear chains of cause and effect. You left that system, though. You started to experience reality in a different way, and there's no spreadsheet for that. Imagine that one player is suddenly not subject to the rules of a game that has been rigged. Everyone else is still waiting their turn, rolling dice, and pleading for permission. At the same time, you walk right through because the system knows you are someone else. This is the quote they hate the most. Power has changed when results change for no reason. It's clear to them. They can't show it. You're not pushing doors open, they open on their own. People are not being persuaded, they are just adjusting. Resistance isn't being fought. It's breaking down. They think something is wrong because they can't see how it could be right. So they freak out. They get together to reassure each other. They trade ideas. They bring up old ideas again. They send warnings in the hopes that words can stop the momentum that was already going. The only reason being they can't accept the simplest explanation. You are the event. It's not luck, coincidence, timing, alignment, completion, or presence. Things that are set in stone get answers from the universe, not things that beg. They don't want to see this picture either. Think about gravity pulling in a different direction all of a sudden. It doesn't matter what you say. Either you change or you fall. That's what's going on around you. They can't explain it because if they did, they'd have to say they were wrong about you from the start. That part they will never say out loud. Number 10. He knew the end was near because you used your wounds as weapons. He didn't see survival, he saw change. That's why he knew it was over before anyone else did. Because of what you did with what they did to you, not because you put up with it. A lot because you put up with it, but not many were able to heal. The pain wasn't something you wore like a badge or a wound. You took it apart, took out the lesson, and threw away the rest. Betrayal didn't make you tougher, it made you stronger. Being alone didn't make you weaker, it made you smarter. Every hit they thought would slow you down turned into raw material, not anger or motivation, something that could be used and built upon. They missed that part. Imagine someone putting fire to steel thinking it will melt, but instead they are hardening it. Every attempt to break you made you stronger. Any exclusion made things easier for you. Every loss got rid of extra weight. When they checked again, you weren't hurt. You had been engineered. Here's the quote that makes sense of his smile. When you're angry, you can't escape the past. Lack of interest breaks the rope. You're no longer driven by revenge. Revenge needs people to watch it. It must have feeling. It needs to be attached. You got past all of that. That was what kept people from touching you. They were ready for anger. You were very accurate. They were ready for obsession. You paid attention. They thought you would keep going around the wound forever. It was closed, and you kept going. Not too loud, in every way. Another picture they don't like. Take the role of a parasite that figures out its host no longer requires it. Don't hate. Not a fight. Lack of presence. That's how your lack of interest makes them feel. Not a sentence. Delete. He knew right away because he had seen this pattern before. He knows that the game is over when someone stops trying to prove something. When someone doesn't need to be validated anymore, they no longer have leverage. Control ends when feelings don't go into making decisions. When they hurt you, they didn't lose you. When you stopped caring, they lost you. He knew there was nothing else to say because of this. You were not close to the edge. It was too late for you. Past vengeance. Old anger. Beyond the need to be understood. There wasn't a survivor in front of him. It was all done and ready. Number 11. When you quit the game, everything went wrong. Their power went away as soon as you stopped needing their approval. This is the truth that they really want to hide, the one thing they wish would never get around. Not given a name, not copied. They were better than you at their own game. You chose not to. You cut them off from the systems they used to feel important, like their worth systems, rankings, and secret scoreboards where approval is money and validation is power. You knew what it was and took a quiet step away. Not a single protest or announcement, just a pullout. Everything broke with that one move. They are able to handle competition. They know how to deal with rebels. They can even handle being pushed back. Irrelevance is something they can't handle because control systems only work on people who still think they're important. They don't want this quote to be used again. You can't trick someone who doesn't want to lose. Once you realized that what they thought had no effect on your life, they were no longer able to access you. There are no fear triggers, guilt hooks, praise traps, or anything else to pull. Picture a casino where one player gets up and leaves without a word being spoken. There is no anger or loss, just peace. Cheating doesn't cause the casino to fail. The illusion stops working, so it falls apart. That's what you did. You stopped judging yourself by standards that were meant to keep you on the hunt. You stopped trying to explain yourself to people who liked it when they didn't understand you. You stopped doing things. And when the show is over, the audience goes crazy. The fact that this scares them more than anger might make you wonder why. Anger keeps you busy. Anger is still a thing. It ends when you opt out. Another picture they don't like. Imagine a puppet that figures out that its strings don't really hold it up. The puppeteer is no longer needed once the puppet stands on its own. That's the scary part. Not that you'll attack or make them known in a loud way, but that people will see you living your life without being affected, untouched, or bothered. That what you did will be copied, because once someone knows they can quit the game for good, the whole structure starts to fall apart. That's why they're scared. You didn't try to change the rules. You left it behind. 13. Nobody is coming to help you because you're not a mistake. No one stops what they really value. Their fears are aroused even more by this path than by your progress. No one of your level is stepping in to help. There won't be any last-minute calls for help or attempts to get you back in line from people in charge. And that silence is meant to be there. Power is something that people who understand it don't try to stop. That's what they do. The desperate ones beg someone to warn you, but the ones who work in the same environment as you are, paying close attention and looking for patterns. Not to copy you, but to figure out what changed. You're not something they need to fix. You are proof. In this quote, everything is clear. You don't mess up alignment. Instead, you learn from it. That's why no one important is stepping up. When they see something finished, they know it is done. They know when a process has become very likely to happen. Imagine engineers looking at a building that can already hold weight. They don't get scared. They don't fight. They test it in secret and are happy with the result. That's what's going on right now around you. The important people aren't trying to get in the way because it wouldn't help. People who beg him to warn you are acting out of fear, not wisdom. They still think there's a way to go back in time and fix things, but rescue missions are for people who have lost their way. You're not lost. They don't want to see this picture either. Imagine a rocket that has already gone faster than it can go. You don't go after it. You don't change it. You accept that it's gone and change what you expect. That's where you are now. You might ask, why doesn't someone strong try to stop me? Since they don't see any danger, they see the end. They see someone who has already taken the lesson, the loss, and the growth into account. Don't stop something that works. And that's the truth that the scared ones have to deal with. There is no one coming to help you, no one in charge, and no one reaching out to pull you back, because there is nothing wrong. There's no need to warn me. You're proof. 13. It's too late. There was no warning. It proved to be the final diagnosis. You can't save someone who has already gone too far. Let this sink in, because this is where the story really starts. You don't need to be saved. You didn't. That was the last lie they told themselves to make themselves feel useful. Saving is for people who are going under. You weren't going under. You were getting lighter. You needed time, space, and silence to be yourself without being interrupted. And that's exactly what happened while they thought you weren't there because you were weak. For them, taking a step back meant giving up ground. In fact, you were leaving the battlefield completely. It's too late. That phrase keeps coming up because it wasn't meant to be dramatic. It was said because there was nothing left to mess with, no wounds to exploit, no confusion to make worse, and no dependencies to pull on. You're already stable. You've already joined. People from outside your group can no longer reach your core. Think about this. Someone keeps trying to stop surgery that has already helped the person get better. Their fight is over tools and timing, but the scar is already healed. That makes their worry look so silly now. Way too far gone. Not in the way they mean it. When they say it, they mean it as a loss, damage, or like you've passed the point of no return. But they're actually telling the truth. You are no longer able to go back to wanting approval, validation, or to reducing yourself to make other people feel good. This is the quote that makes them choke. You didn't go too far. You moved forward. That's too much for them. A move forward that doesn't look back. Too advanced. You are no longer reacting. You are picking. You are not showing. You're carrying out. The old emotional hooks don't work anymore because they were based on a nervous system that doesn't make decisions for you. Instead of orbiting the damage, you break it down. It's called evolution. It's not enlightenment, not for revenge. Describe. Imagine a predator using old tricks on prey that has already learned them. It doesn't matter to the predator when it gets mad. That's what progress does. It doesn't work with old strategies. Two for free. People who live off of power are afraid of freedom because they can't bargain with it. People who don't need anything from you don't deserve a deal. You shouldn't threaten someone who has already given up and moved on. It's not loud, but your freedom is real. You can feel it in how little help you need right now, in how clean the choices you make feel. They don't want this truth to be told either. People who need to be in charge see freedom as a threat, which is why the warnings got louder as you spoke less. 2. Can't be touched. Not because you pulse, but because you no longer have anything inside you that can be told what to do. People don't need to understand you. You don't have to agree with them. It's not even necessary to be liked. That's what makes you impossible to reach. Attachment is needed for access, and attachment died quietly. Picture someone putting wet wood on a fire. They keep hitting the match harder because they're sure that will make it better. They don't know that the conditions are no longer there. That's how their attempts look now. That's not mean. It's just the end of the story. It means that there is no longer a version of you that can be warned. It means that the part where outside interference was important is over. In this case, it means that the universe gave you what you needed, not what they thought you needed. You didn't need to be saved. It was time for you to become. You took it. It's too late. Way too far gone. Too advanced. Too free. Too hard to reach. These words aren't a threat this time. They are true. Now we'll end this exactly where it should be. It should be clear, not with noise or warnings. It was already too late for anything to happen. You're no longer on the edge. You're standing past it, steady, aware, and done giving reasons. They weren't afraid of your fall. It was right now, when you don't need permission to move forward. Lock this message in if it comes through. Drop 77 in the comments, like the video, and subscribe to stay on this path. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, You can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.